My physique went from this to this. And if I knew what I'll explain in this video, I would have made so much faster progress in the gym. The thing that most beginners don't think is important, is the rest between the sets. Now you may think, well, 2 more or less minutes doesn't matter. It won't change anything. But let me explain. I can guarantee you it will make a huge difference if you just listen to me. When I began training, I did a lot of exercises. I had this program I followed. I did a set of squats. And I did a set of squats and I trained quite hard. Tried to make a good form. I tried to train as hard as I possibly could. And then when I was done, I sat down, maybe took my phone, started scrolling a little bit, take a couple breaths, and just went straight to the squat rack again. My rest was about 30 or 60 seconds max. And then I did again, and I tried again, did in the set, 30, 60 seconds, and I did again. But then about after a month, my knees started hurting a little bit. Well, it's just for today. Just keep doing squats again and again. And then after like 1.5 months, 2 months, I couldn't squat no more. My knee was hurting a lot. And that's when I realized that why I got this injury was because of bad form. And I got bad form because of too little rest. The thing that kills the most gains, the most progress, are always injuries. They can take a long time to heal. Maybe you can't do an exercise because your back hurts, because your knee hurts. And you will lose a lot of muscle mass if you can't train for 2, 3, 4 months because of an injury. And often the injury is our fault. It's always our fault. We are doing something wrong. It's not the bar that, no, but we are doing something wrong. Either the wrong technique, or too little rest, or ego lifting, too much weight, and so on. But the easiest solution, the fix to basically everything, and that can kill everything, is the rest. So when you train to failure, as you are doing, because I've explained the importance of training to failure in all of my other videos, you're pushing yourself to the limit. So for example, if we say you're doing squats, and you take a set, you do a set, and you go to absolute failure. And then you take 30 seconds of rest, 60 seconds of rest, and you go back to the bar and you do to failure again. Your form will be 50% worse than from the first set. You'll be exhausted, you'll need to breathe, you won't be able to concentrate on what you're doing. Alright, you do the second set, you go back to your bench, and you take 30 to 60 seconds of rest again. And then you do a third set of squats. Now you really need to grasp air, you can't really brace your stomach. That will higher the risk of hurting your lower back when squatting. Your legs are shaking, you can't really balance anymore. Your calves are shaking and you can't really balance and you're about to fall over, and of course you will injure yourself. Because now, after the 2 sets to failure, and now you're trying to do a third, of 2 sets of failure, and now you're trying to do a third, your form is like 70% worse than from the first set. And why? You're trying to do good form, but it's because of rest. Too little rest. And when your form is absolutely off, you're very vulnerable to injuries. Especially if you're training to failure. And this principle applies to every single exercise in the gym. Of course, we have exercises where rest is incredibly important. And these are big exercises where you're using a lot of muscles. For example, squat, deadlift, the bench press, dips. You understand what I'm talking about. And then we got the small exercises. There it doesn't matter as much. For example, on bicep curls, lateral raises, tricep extension, calf raises. Of course, you can injure yourself there, but it's a significantly smaller risk because you're using smaller muscles and often technique is less complicated than in the big ones. But what a lot of other beginners do is, instead of just taking 30 or 60 seconds of rest, they take 10, 15, 20 minutes of rest. What often happens is that you do a set and you sit down, you start scrolling on your phone. Oh, Instagram Reels, you go in there and you sit there and sit and scroll. And whoa, 15 minutes have passed right now. Your heart isn't beating as fast anymore. Blood isn't running through all your body, trying to carry oxygen. Your muscles are cold now, and if you go and do a set now, the risk of injury is now higher again, because you're cold and the muscles are a little stiffer. You just didn't waste time. You can injure yourself again. You just didn't higher risk of injury. You just wasted a lot of time, valuable time. And if you don't want to waste any time, I'm doing a course right now. A course on how skinny teenagers and skinny high school students can build an aesthetic physique and gain weight. And I have a lot of different bonuses. For example, 5 proven to work, pre-made workout routines made by me that will build you an aesthetic physique. And I will mention every single form and technique and explain them as detailed as I can. So if you want to save time, get faster results, check out the link in the description or go to my bio. And you need to set a timer on your phone. So you're doing a big exercise, you train to failure, you can't really breathe, you think, I maybe need 5 minutes of rest. You put a timer on your phone, 5 minutes, bam, and then you can scroll on Instagram Reels or talk to your friend or whatever. And when that timer goes off, straight back to the squat rack and go at it. This way you won't just get faster progress because you can actually push your body to failure. You will significantly lower the risk of injury and you will save time in the gym. It's just a win-win-win. Nothing to lose. And it won't just help you in the gym, it will also prevent that you can't walk when you're 62 years old and yeah, you need a wheelchair because your lower back is not that good anymore. Thank you for watching and see you around. Bye-bye!